Hey everybody, Big D here on Big D's Fig Farm. It is September the 14th, and it's been getting cooler at night, but we're getting back up. We got back up to the 80s again, and again for us, warm temperatures usually, sometimes literally can go to Thanksgiving. There's a ripe Floria right there, very soft. I'll take that in when I go in. I've got a couple Delsa and Wamis I'm watching. I picked one today, nice and soft. There's one there, and there's another one, two of them, one here and one down there, that are still a little firm, so I try to let them sit there till they start getting soft or get pretty soft. But they got a pretty open eye, and you got to watch them. It's like something happened there and broke my limb off, but we'll see. So there's those. We're getting down to slim pickings at this point of the season because lots of them have already ripened all their figs and getting a lot of brown leaves and yellow leaves falling off, and went to Figfest yesterday in Gaithersburg, about 3 hours from me, on the other side of the Chesapeake Bay from us. And I took 8 trees, donated 2, sold 4, 3. So I took 8, gave away 2. Anyway, came back with 6, got 3 new ones. That's what happens. I won 2 in drawings, and somebody gave me a 3rd one. So got lots of figs on my Olympian here still. Now this is one that died back to the ground and then sprung back to life throughout the summer here. It was late putting on figs, but it put on a lot of figs. If you look here, you can see it put quite a few figs on as the summer went. The question is now, are they going to ripen before fall hits? I see one turning in here. That's not a very big one either. It's soft. That's pretty soft. I'm taking it. Now, Olympians are usually medium to large figs, normally. But again, this got started so late, but like you can see, it's got lots of figs all over it. Lots of figs. I just, again, don't know if they're going to ripen. Time will tell. I'm picking Chicago Hardies pretty frequently. I got some big hornets and wasps around the area these days because I was out of town for a few days. We had lots of rain, 2 days of rain. And 2 days of rain at the peak of ripening season for the Brooklyn Whites means a mess, because that means that the rain, because of their open eye, they will spoil quickly, and that draws all the bees and the hornets to our backyard, and they're here. So I've been trying to send it out, pull the bad ones off as much as I can here on Big Green. But the interior is where all the rotten ones are, and I'm not climbing in the tree with them big old hornets and wasps all in there to try to clear them out. So at this point, it might be, there's some flying around right there, I don't know if you can see it, but it might be that they're going to get a lot of the remainder of these figs. See what I mean by the opening split eye? But I'm still picking the periphera around the outside of the tree, even though you got to watch for bees before you go grabbing the figs. That's a nice ripe one, nice splitting, very soft, and that's about as tight as the eye is on a Brooklyn White. They are pretty open-eyed, so it can be a little precarious at this point. You can see on the inside, on the interior, where a lot of them have began to, I'm trying to get it here where you can see it, there we go, see, a lot of them on the inside is spoiled. And again, climbing in there to pull them off with the big hornets and wasps everywhere in the tree, you're really taking a lot of risk. And I've got so many figs this year anyway, that I probably got 80, I don't know, 60, 70, 80 pounds in the freezer. I've made probably 20 some cases of fig jam, but I don't know. It was a big one. I was going to show you one of them big, I think they're called bald faced something other. All I know is they're big old boys, and I am not. There's one in there. I'm not trying to see how bad he is. Where'd he go? There he is. See? Yeah, there you go. You can see him. Some big ones, but Celeste has pretty much dropped off here. In years past, I mean, Celeste would keep on, and I probably can get in there and find a handful that are still ripening. But in years past, I mean, I would keep on getting, even after the prime peak is over. This time of year, I would still be getting some, you know, pound or so a day. But the leaves are even thinning out, and I don't see a lot of ripe figs on it at this point. Here's one here though, right here. It's a Celeste. Not bad looking. And that's the other thing that's out here. A lot of, I don't think you could hear it, but I could. Horseflies. A lot of horseflies these days. Look at that being there. Ooh, big one. So yeah, they're even at the Celeste dining these days. So anyway, all right, well, I'm just going to give you a little bit of an update of where things are. Still getting a few Celeste here and there, not many. Hog Island's just starting. I don't know how many of these we'll get, but there's a few of them in here that are starting to ripen. That one's pretty ripe. Hog Island. One here that a bird thought looked pretty ripe. Took a few stripes at. And a few more down here of Hog Islands. Nope, nope, nope. Those three aren't getting soft yet. My in-ground Negro de Agde, this lost about, if I remember right, oh, looky over there, about 30% last year, but it sprung up pretty good this year. Now, the thing with Negro de Agde, let's get pretty soft. I'm impressed with that. My potted one, it normally takes, gosh, I mean, the hang time on these have been almost as bad as Black Madeira and Delson-Wami. Yeah, they hang forever before they ever get soft. But it's got a few figs in there that I'm keeping an eye on. There's another very small one there that's turning dark on these. These get really dark, but it takes forever for them to soften up. They are slow ripening fig, Negro de Agde, but it's a good fig called Cherry Twizzler fig. This is my Renata Unknown. I planted it in the ground this spring, and it only had this one runner right here when I planted it. And you can see that it's setting up multiple other runs here. But, you know, again, I'm an all-natural grower. I let them go. I'll prune for picking or prune for trimming, like keeping the low limbs off so I can trim around them with grass cutter, etc., etc. But I don't do a whole lot of pruning otherwise. I just let it grow naturally. This put all of its energy in root establishment and growth of the tree this year. It did not put on a single fig, planting it this spring. That was kind of disappointing. I don't even know what this variety is yet. I haven't got enough of the fruit to really try to figure that out. I know it's an Adriatic fig. I've had a couple figs off of it the very first year, last year. And I didn't get any this year, but only got a couple last year. And so Adriatic, for those who don't know or watch, it's a green fig with a bright red interior. It was a medium-sized fig. It was pretty tasty. Our Azores Dark, he's looking a little rough. He didn't grow much this year. He was close to that size when I planted him. Maybe a little bit of growth, but I've picked quite a few figs off that little tree right there, probably 2.5, 3 dozen figs. But he's at the end of his time. This is my Robert's Golden Rainbow. You can see down there, I planted this spring, but the tree was very slow to spring back, put off leaves, and eventually it sent back up from the ground, from the root system, which is what you see here. This is all new growth this year from the root system. So, but what was existing did not grow at all. Neri, I've had this in the ground for a long time. Probably this is the 3rd year in ground. Finally, this is the 1st year that I'm getting some figs on it. You can see there's some over here, a couple figs in there. There's another fig there. So it's got some figs on it. Question is, will they ripen this year? Will I actually get a ripe Neri? Now, the reason I got this one was they claimed that they will put off figs the size of tennis balls. So they're supposed to be very large figs. My Peter's Honey, I got 2 of these, one across the yard, one here. Both of them died back to the ground. This is all new growth this year. Finally put on a few figs, but I doubt they're going to ripen at this point, this season. This is my Colonel Littman's Black Cross. He's pretty tall. He took some beating this winter as well. However, grew back pretty good and has put figs on. I don't know if they're going to ripen though. This is the 1st year that I've gotten figs on the tree. I've never gotten a Colonel Littman Black Cross fig. Here they're very good. I cannot wait to find out for myself. But as of yet, we haven't had a chance to try that yet. There's some question about whether I ever will on that one, whether it can make it in grow in 7B and actually produce. This is one I probably will plant next year, right here. This is the Carr. Very dark fig, Mission family fig, but it's a delicious fig. Love that one. And the other dark fig that I'm probably going to plant next year is the other one down there at the end, my Raspberry Latte. I was very impressed with the taste quality of this one, Raspberry Latte. And so are the birds. Yep. So, yeah, it was a good fig. I got quite a few off of that, this little tea tree. I will plant that next year. So that's 2 that I'm pretty confident I will be planting. Carr and Raspberry Latte. This big old bushy thick thing over here is my LSU Purple, and it's got figs on it, which didn't the first couple years. This year it's put a lot of figs on. You can see. I just don't know if they're going to ripen or not. LSU Purple claims to do 3 crops a year. I don't get 3 crops a year, I can tell you that. I barely get 1 crop a year off this so far. Now, I'm hoping that it'll get better, but to this point, it hasn't. But you can see, the ones that are fruity are really fruity. They're putting a lot of fruit on. They're just not really ripening. I have picked a few of these this year so far, but not many. And quite honestly, not super impressive yet. Hoping that changes, but to date, it's been Smith never put on figs. Main ground Smith. It grew back okay, but it never put on any figs. So, here's the thing. If this dies again this winter, then we will probably not be keeping it in ground. Because if it dies back every winter and does not produce fruit the next year, then it's not a successful. Look what I'm seeing in here. This right here is a shriveled up Ronde Bordeaux that I never saw until just this moment. I was getting ready to say Ronde Bordeaux is the same, but apparently there was one. There's a few here, but this is normally an early fig, so I doubt they're going to ripen. But put on figs, and hopefully it'll survive the winter. It's supposed to be able to grow that here. This is my Italian potato, planted it this year, never put on fruit. Madeline de Doucescent, died back to the ground, has fruit, lots of it, just not going to ripen. This is my white Madeira #1. I've got a couple off of this already this year. It died back to the ground as well. This is all this year's growth only. But it did produce and ripen some figs. And that is an exquisite fig, white Madeira. This is Mother Peter's honey. You can see it's got a few figs in here too. But if they're going to ripen, I don't know. You see I have very large walnuts from the neighbor's tree here. They're fun when you're cutting grass. Sound like hand grenades going off on the grass cutter. This is my Ravenscouse. Ravenscouse here. Squirrel or something been pulling on that one. And they also take a while to ripen and get soft. That one's not even super soft. It just came off in my hand. They're slow, and all these are still very firm, even though they're dark. All right. Well, there's a long video of a walkthrough. All right. Well, we will talk at you later. I just want to give you an update on where things were.